Our next guest is an Emmy-nominated actor you know from Notting Hill, the Paddington films, and of course Downton Abbey, which he returns to in Downton Abbey, the grand finale in theaters Friday. Let's take a look.
What's that?
I don't know. The family upstairs.
The family upstairs? What about downstairs? Is a family there too?
I don't know if it's a family.
How peculiar. A sort of layer cake of strangers. And what about when I want to go up to bed?
You don't go up, you go along.
Extraordinary.
Please welcome to the show, Hugh Bonneville, everybody.
Thank you.
Welcome, how are you?
I'm very well indeed. I forgot to bring my cushion because I have noticed that all chat show hosts have a higher chair than their guests.
You know what? I kind of agree, but this one just kind of got stuck in a higher position.
Yeah,
It could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be up here. There we go.
There we go.
I'm sorry. I'll like kind of sink down because I don't want to big time you.
Okay.
Hey, before we talk about the film, which I want to do, I want to say I noticed on the red carpet, you used your time on the red carpet to call on the international community to stop the humanitarian disaster in Gaza. Obviously, the images we're seeing are horrific, and I just wanted to both commend you for doing that. And I also wanted to ask, what has the response been?
The response has been extraordinary. Literally thousands and thousands of messages of support. And what it made me realise is how voiceless most people feel and how nervous people feel about speaking. I have had, one death threat, which I'm not taking seriously, and a lot of people saying I'm anti-Semitic or whatever, which I'm not. I just think what is happening in Gaza is a humanitarian crisis that we all need to speak up about and our leaders need to address in whatever way. Of course, the actions of October 7th were abhorrent, and of course what's happened since is abhorrent. We are human beings and we need to try and do better. That's as simple as that. And the UN World Food Programme has got an appeal that I'm fully backing, and I hope others, if they can donate to support that so that aid can get through.
Well, thank you for using your voice. Thank you. Downton Abbey.
Yes.
This started in 2010.
Yes.
Did you have any sense that it was going to become this phenomenon?
Well, I did say in my contract, it has to become a worldwide hit.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I've heard that about you.
Yeah,
That's your sort of demand early on.
I mean, you never know, do you, whether a show's going to hit or miss? And it took us a little while to believe that it was hitting. I mean, we were told in the first season that costume drama was dead, that we'd just do the 7 episodes and go quietly away into the sunset. We did 52 episodes and 3 movies. It's been extraordinary.
It's unbelievable. Now, this is called the grand finale, and we saw from the clip, seems like everybody's moving on, but there is a chance there'll be spin-offs. Do you have are there any dreams for you as to what happens in the cinematic universe of Downton Abbey?
Well, it is, all these franchises now seem to have spin-offs in some way or other. And while I think our chapter at the castle of Highclere Castle of Downton Abbey itself is now over, I mean, you've noticed there's a big tower. I'm pretty convinced there's a rocket in there, and I think there could be...
Oh, wow.
I think there could be a spin-off in space.
Wow.
Yeah. Lord Grantham on Mars or something like that. I mean,
can I tell you that's not where I thought you were going to go with it? I'm very excited about this idea.
I don't know.
We lost Dame Maggie Smith, one of the best we ever had. Someone who I'm so lucky to meet all these people I look up to and respect. I never had the chance to meet her. Was she everything that I would have imagined?
She was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was wonderful and terrifying at the same time because she really, she took on the role of Violet in her mid or late 70s when most people are sort of beginning to wind down. She was still going. She had, an actor, written in every vein of her body. And when she was tough, she was toughest on herself. So everyone else had to raise their game, really. And It just took one moment to, in any take or any given scene, where she just took off and the lines flew, and she was a magnificent actor to be around.
And you got to work with Shirley MacLaine as well. I mean, those are just a couple of legends, and I imagine you've worked with quite a few, but that was a very special thing.
That was very special, seeing these two great dames. I think they were only a few months apart in age, meeting at Highclere Castle one cold, I think, March morning. And then sitting between them at the dinner table as the cameras were setting up, and just hearing them chat about their past. And certainly Shirley's very open about her past. She's written about it. She's been in several incarnations, as we know.
Yeah. And she's had multiple pasts.
Multiple pasts and multiple partners. And she actually was telling us all about, these amazing affairs she'd had. And Maggie, I remember Maggie saying, "Oh, darling, you have been busy." And and Shirley, of course, being the brother of the famous Warren Beatty, saying, "I know I did all the work. My brother got all the credit."
I want to ask about another franchise you're a part of, which is one of my personal favorites, Paddington.
No.
I mean, but again, there's a lot of, you can get away with less than with the children's film, and yet Paddington is this incredible film. It's just, it's great cinema, I think, for kids and adults. Did you know right away that was going to be?
Well, I was very nervous because I grew up loving Paddington, as it was one of the first books I could read for myself, and so I felt a great sense of ownership over the bear from Darkest Peru. And so when I heard that there was going to be a movie version, I thought, this could really ruin it. But it was in the hands of David Heyman, who'd taken another beloved children's franchise, Harry Potter, and made that into
did all right
movies.
with it, right?
So you think, well, he probably knows a thing or two. And then I read the script, and I remember on the first page of the first film, it talks about this explorer going through the jungle and taking with him a modest timepiece, and you see his sort of Sherpas or his bearers carrying an enormous grandfather clock. And I thought this sort of wit, this visual wit, I think is going to stand us in good stead. And then when I saw the animation of the bear, for the first time during the edit, I was completely blown away, and I realized it was a cut above what it might have been.
Well, there is that thing when you're watching the movie, you sort of forget it's animation because, it's this one singular character that's animated, and you are all doing such fantastic jobs as actors, making me believe there's a bear there.
Yeah. Well, yes, I remember actually, Hugh Grant tells the story that when I think it was his father who was sitting next to him at the premiere of Paddington 2, and after a couple of minutes he leaned over and said, "Is that a real bear?"
Paddington 2, look, they're all great. Paddington 2 might be one of my favorite movies of all time. Hugh Grant, Hugh Bonneville, together again, Notting Hill. And how many years had it been since Notting Hill to Paddington 2?
I think we worked out that we hadn't been in a rehearsal room together for 19 years, so yeah.
It's a fantastic, you're both so great in it. He seems to be having a great time. I'm really enjoying this era of Hugh Grant.
Absolutely. He's getting more and more curmudgeonly in interviews, which is fantastic. But like a great wine, he's getting better with age, I think. I think he's a wonderful actor. He really is. He just sort of poo-poos the whole thing the whole time.
We found a clip of, you were getting interviewed on a press tour for Paddington by a young journalist. And you seem to enjoy it a great deal, and I'd just like to show the clip. This is two Hughes talking to a young American journalist.
What was your guys' first or worst job?
I used to wash the seats at a football stadium, soccer stadium in London, and I had a co-worker who had mental problems, and at the end of most weeks he would stab me. He had a little knife and he'd stab me in the arse.
I, on the other hand, started my career cleaning toilets in a legal firm.
Sounds pretty bad.
Well, no, it was a very nice firm.
I hope he rebounded. I hope he bounced back.
Oh my gosh, I'd completely forgotten that, but both stories are totally true.
It's such an honor to have you here. Congrats on everything you've done with Downton Abbey and everything you've done outside of that. And we have a giveaway tonight. Everyone in the audience tonight will be getting 2 tickets to see Downton Abbey, the grand finale. It's in theaters Friday. That's Hugh Bonneville. Thanks, everybody. We'll be right back.